Welcome back to the David Pakman Show.
Welcome to the bonus show. Yesterday, that story we did on Kim Jong-un and ski lifts, North Korea, that was from Derek, which I forgot to mention, I believe. So giving credit where it's due. Thank you, Derek. Everyone probably remembers the two-part bonus show stories about the pyramid schemer, the run-in I had. And that was with Amway. Now, when I go to the Amway website, it really is not that sensational. It's pretty plain. Not that exciting. Doesn't really catch your eye that much. Now, I'm getting a story here from Sean Sotomayor about a company called Vema, which is pretty much the same thing, multi-level marketing, pyramid scheme stuff. And the two websites look pretty similar. The Vema one looks a little bit more sensational, though. There's like BMWs and a little more colorful, that type of thing. But I guess what's going on with Vema is they're targeting college students, and there's even some tuition type thing here that they're trying to pitch to college students. I mean, I guess the idea is that, hey, college kids, work for us, you can make tons of money and, pay for your college tuition. And I'm looking at it, and it's kind of the same in that what they're offering, similar to Amway, is all these health products. And did you take a look at this website yet?
I did, yeah. And it's the concept with the college students is similar to when we were undergrads. There was this company, I don't even know if this one's still around, called Cutco, and they sold knives. And they roped in one of our friends, and I saw exactly what was going on. He said he went to this great meeting, and all these people who make all this money made presentations, and he's going to start selling, and he already booked a bunch of appointments, and he gets paid, like during his training phase, he ggets paid $10 for every appointment he makes to show people knives, regardless of whether they buy. He's like, I'll just make tons of appointments. I said, okay. So like, what were there any costs associated with starting up? He said, nope, no costs at all. He just had to buy his own set of knives to be able to show people when he goes to the appointments. I said, well, what did you spend? He said, oh, well, I spent $400, but they're really good knives. Like, I would have bought them anyway. And I'm like, really? You're 18 and you're in college, and no matter what, you would have bought a $400 set of knives at this point in your life. And obviously the $10 stipend for the appointment only lasts during like a 2-week training period. It never makes up for the $400 you spent on knives. You start selling your family members knives, you quit within a few months, and they've made some money off of you. I mean, that was the scheme there. He lasted like 3 months or something.
Yeah. And there's all sorts of just information here. We have a game plan to get you earning $500, $5,000, or even $50,000 per month. Absolutely incredible. And the fact that they're targeting college kids just makes me sick. I see the pictures of these the people who run this company, and I just want to punch them in the face, to be perfectly honest.
Well, it's funny because in no other type of hiring situation would it be reasonable to, number one, give you such drastic differences in what you can make without giving that much information about how you make that much money. Not to mention the idea of when you go to a business, imagine if you went to like what's a company? If you went to the Whole Foods website and you went to the employment page and they showed you pictures of the cars you could buy if you did really well working at Whole Foods. Just the entire culture of it should be a red flag to people.
Yeah, definitely. More despicable stuff. Avoid Vema, and if you run into someone who is trying to pitch it to you, well, let them have it. Let them have it hard.
Run for the hills.
Or run for the hills. There's, as I'm sure a lot of people know, there's a remake of the movie Carrie that's coming out soon. And there's a lot of hype around it. And there's an interesting marketing campaign where they basically film a prank. They set the whole thing up in a coffee shop, and they make it look like there is some woman who has telekinetic ability. and they staged it pretty well. And the one I saw, there were about three different takes, I guess, of different days or times in this cafe. And they set it up so that this guy spills a coffee over this woman's laptop and on her, and is just kind of an ass about it. And she kind of freaks out and like pushes him up against a wall. Well, telekinetically.
Yeah.
And people freak out. It is pretty amazing to watch. And then she, what happens after that? She basically kind of makes it seem like she's just realizing she's able to do this. She doesn't even really know what's going on. And then she kind of just takes a step back and all the tables move away from her. And then she does the scream, the Carrie scream, and all these books and things start flying off the wall. And it's like, it really well done.
Now, was it
and people
really
are running out the doors?
Was it
People have
really
the
a
cameras.
staged prank, or was it everybody there was in on it? Because a lot of times these pranks, it's
No.
completely staged.
No, I believe this was this was not staged. If there were people in on it, it was probably only the employees and the actors. And I believe there are a lot of genuine reactions. If you watch it, it's pretty convincing. And there just aren't enough movies doing things like this. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, it would be great if there were more things like this being done. But in general, just the movie industry has become very, very kind of like conservative in terms of what's being produced. And for a while, it was like, well, you have indie film producers, and they're really doing the stuff that's on the fringes, the really radical, edgy stuff. And then a lot of them got kind of bought out by the big studios, and it was still kind of like, well, we own them, but they still do whatever they would do anyway. We just have oversight. And then a lot of the indie studios started becoming way more traditionalist and mainstream. So now really it's the internet where you're getting a lot of the really innovative documentary and movie production.
So there's this story on Gizmodo about where electronics go, electronic waste. And we see those commercials for that the companies that want your old cell phones. I'm not really sure where those go. That might be a more precision operation happening here in this country. But a lot of this waste goes to places like Ghana, where there are these giant dumps full of this stuff. And I guess they're hiring young children for $4 a day or less to process this stuff, melt it. I don't know, capture the metals, precious metals, and it's really harmful. Lots of chemicals. It's stunting their growth. It's stunting their mental development. Yeah, it's just kind of shocking stuff. There are lots of organizations trying to put the kibosh on this, but it's basically just outsourcing, except in this case, even more harmful because things are just not being done properly.
Yeah, if you want to talk about structural inequality in this country, in this world, we've talked many times about how the hunger issue is not really a resource issue. There's plenty of food to feed everybody. It's an allocation issue where we throw away a quarter to 40% of food in the United States, depending on whether we're talking restaurants or homes or whatever the case may be. And then around the world, people don't have food. Even in the United States, people don't have food. And then we take the precious minerals that are used, coltan and these other ones, to make cell phones and these types of devices from these poor countries in Africa. And then we send the harmful waste back over to them. And it's very easy for people to just not care because you don't really see it. It's like, yeah, but they were kind of destined to have bad lives because of where they were born, right? That's one kind of attitude that's ingrained in people. Yeah, Africa is just bad. You know, I can't worry about that. I volunteer at a soup kitchen here. That's what really matters. And that actually does matter, and it does make a difference. But this idea of kind of out of sight, out of mind is never more prevalent than when we look at how we completely we take all these minerals at pennies on the dollar based on the profits that are turned off of them, and then we just send the harmful waste back over there, and it's this horrible cycle that I wish I had more ability to change.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I never really thought about. Where is the electronic waste going? Where's that old computer I threw out going to end up? And, well, I don't like what I found out. but hopefully that will change. Probably not going to happen for a very long time. But
No, the impetus for change will be, like we talked with Judah Fried yesterday, some kind of global sensibility makes us realize that just because it's a different country and it's like on the other side of the ocean, it will still eventually affect us, which is really not a great way for it to change, because it's really kind of a self-centered, selfish way. It's, okay, I realize that eventually it will affect me, so now I'll do something to change it. Or there's some kind of awakening or restructuring of the power and financial structures where the countries that are on the receiving end of these damaging deposits of garbage and waste are able to leverage what now is relatively little power and change the status quo. And it is depressing, because this is really one of the areas where doing a petition online or raising $10,000 or calling your member of Congress, it unfortunately doesn't make a difference. I guess if everybody in the country knew this was going on and were against it, which not everybody is, maybe you could get some change. But this is where I really get kind of jaded and pessimistic.
Right. I mean, what happens when all of these kids decide that they're going to stop working unless their pay is doubled, tripled? You know, it might not even occur to them. What if that happens over at the factories in China? I mean, it would be devastating for Apple if some of those operations just completely shut down. So I don't know. Maybe they feel that they don't have the ability to do that, or they can't afford to take the chance at missing out on that $4 a day. It's unfortunate, but hopefully it's something we can work on. And we'll try and spread the information. And that's all we have for today.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.